Buddy, I'm getting so sick of having a mine for all of my resources, man. I think it's about time. I think it's about time we start setting up a mob farm. I think we could do it. Infinite materials, no need to mine anything, just blades to kill all the mobs. How do you keep doing that? Buddy, have you ever messed up before? I don't mean something simple like, oops, I put my shirt on backwards. I mean like, really messed up. No? Oh, that's right, you're Canadian. Well, I guess it's probably a good time that I kind of tell you guys something. I recorded for 5 hours, 5 straight hours, and accidentally recorded on default settings. Some of you might be thinking, oh, Alfred, that's not too bad. I'll watch it. I don't want to do that to you. I did a lot. Lots of stuff happened. But unfortunately, those files are actually really bad. And you know what? I want to do y'all better than that. I'm just going to show y'all what I did. All right, buddy, you sit right there while I talk to these good people, okay? You know, you play with our new friend. Berberette. They're sticky, okay? That's our new friend. We happened to get them along our adventures over the last recording. But most importantly, we really needed resources last episode. So I decided to make a mob farm. This bad boy is actually insane. And I recorded myself setting up this whole thing, even building this out, making it look real pretty and nice and showing how everything works. But those recordings are kind of dead. So I'm gonna have to do it all over again and explain to y'all exactly how to set this up. And some of you might be wondering, why should you set this up? Well, first off, let's turn it on. And make sure my magnet's turned off so I don't pick everything up here. And as we see, we've got a lot of stuff going into here, which is a ton of stuff actually. Like that's a lot of mobs. It's beautiful, isn't it? Except for one thing. While this does cause a lot of lag on servers and stuff, if you're in a single player world, this is probably the very first step that I would ever take in getting resources. It's cool to go and mine a bunch of your resources out or even try and head for the chunk destroyer, which trust me, I've done and we're going to do actually today on this episode. But this is, in my opinion, the most important step to getting resources. And you might be wondering why. Well, this is why. As you see here, we have a ton, and I mean, we have a ton of resources. Like, a lot of resources. And Lady Jank Habfish Sill agrees. And it's actually a very easy setup. Let's start with the inside. So these are just regular spawners, and they're actually very easy to get. I mean, I showed this before where you just take a cardboard box, plop it over the spawner that you're looking at or whatever, pick it up, and you can place it anywhere. But you might be wondering how I'm getting some of these spawners, because we have the blaze spawner right there, but we also have a slime, a spider, an enderman, and all these different things. And it's actually very easy to do. So one of the things that Apotheosis allows you to do is change the spawner of whatever mob it is into whatever mob that you want to. All you need is an egg of that mob to change it. Now, I don't know if I caught this in the last episode or not, but those spawners that were all in our stuff, like everywhere, yeah, all of those spawners, all those little things that we got with the chest underneath, we got some of these spawn eggs. It was actually huge for us to get those eggs because these eggs allow us to change the spawners, which is really, really nice. Now, I've already set all this up. Like I said before, it's like, oh man, this is a ton of stuff. But how in the world are you getting these eggs? I know we got the Enderman spawner, we've got the cave spider spawner, we've got a husk. Some of these were just the ones that I picked up, like the cave spider and the husk were just normal spawns that I got. But like say for the slime, the blaze spawner, and the creeper spawner, stuff like that, maybe we didn't get an egg for. It's actually very easy for us to get an egg using the mod mob crushing utilities. So if we go in here and type in mob, we go over here and look, sorry, mob grinding utilities. So if we go over here and look in here, you can actually make the spawn eggs very simply by taking and making chicken feed. So you're going to need some buckets of experience. You're going to need a mob swab that is used and just any old seeds. This is actually a very simple process and it doesn't really take much to do. The swabs just takes some wool and a stick and then you swab a mob. So all you got to do is right click on a mob with the said mob swab and then you make the chicken feed out of it. Now, getting a bucket of experience in the early game is not exactly the easiest thing to do. You might be able to find it in certain ways and you might even upgrade your bag to have a tank filter. But the easiest way to do that is to make something like this, the XP Drain Singularity Tank. So if I fly up here and show you guys this is basically just something very simple to make. It is from mob grinding utilities. Just takes some Eyes of Ender, a hopper, and a singularity tank, which again, the tank just takes some iron and some glass. So what this does is when you step on it and you stay on it, it drains your experience at the bottom. See how I'm level 158? That's pretty cool, right? So the cool part about this is I have this already draining into an experience crystal. If I turn this off by hitting it right here and then stepping on it, drain some more experience in here, I can show you. You can then take a bucket and just get yourself a fluid XP bucket, which is really nice. So I'm going to show y'all how exactly I would do this to say, make a spawner out of these things. Really quick, just to show you. And we're going to do that by getting ourselves a wither skeleton spawner. So we have ourselves a mob swab, again, just wool and sticks. And we're going to go find us a wither skeleton. Now you can do this with any mob, or I wouldn't say any mob. There are some mobs that are blacklisted, but for the most part, you just go find yourself a wither skeleton. I hear wither skeleton, I just don't see them, and it's relatively dark for me. Let's see if we can find one in here. Oh, wither skeleton, wither skeleton. I know you're out here somewhere. I hear you. Are you in here? There you are. So you just right click with the mob and that's it. You got it swabbed. Boop. Oh, a chest. Your next step would be to find a chicken. But you could actually use the same method to swab a chicken and make a chicken spawner. So if you have a chicken and you have a spawner, make yourself a mob swab, swab the chicken, and oh wait, we did this. When did he get here? We made a chicken spawner. Just gotta wait for one to spawn. Oh, there's one right there. So what I'm gonna do is take our swab here and let's mix it all together with the fluid XP bucket and the wheat seeds and we get chicken feed. Well, what does this chicken feed do exactly? And there we have it. We got ourselves a wither skeleton spawn egg, which is really nice. This man is scared for his life. He just saw his friend explode. Don't worry. I've got all the chickens that I need. So now that we have the wither skeleton egg, all we have to do is come over here, fly in here, and we find a spawner. These are all my spawners that are set up. And we just replace whatever spawner that we have when we don't want. So for me, I actually like having the husk because the husk, if we come over here and we look at, let's say zombie heart is one of the drops that husks drop. You can actually check this out by hitting R on it and then going over to mob drops. And you can see that the zombie heart is dropped by a husk, which is pretty cool. It's also dropped by a normal zombie and all the different versions of zombies. And it's also dropped by a zombified piglin. Well, the cool thing about the zombie heart is that it actually makes one, rotten flesh, which can be turned into leather, but it also makes gold nuggets. So we got ourselves, with the husk here, we got ourselves a gold farm. Same thing down here. We have something called a Wilden Stalker. Let's type in Wilden Wing. You've probably seen these before. These right here, they actually turn into leather as well. So that's a nice little leather farm. I don't need this anymore because I've had this farm running for a while. So I'm just going to get rid of this by right clicking. And now we have ourselves a wither skeleton spawner. You see all those extra things at the top though, the minimum spawn delay, maximum spawn delay and all that. Each of these spawners can be upgraded to be faster. You also see at the bottom, we see redstone control, ignores light, silent, all that stuff. Those are modifiers that you can add to your spawners to make them faster, do different things, ignore certain things. Like all of these spawners right here ignore light, every single one of them. And it makes it where that I don't have to worry about the light affecting the spawner, whether they're going to spawn or not. You also see we have redstone control. This allows me to control each of these spawners with a switch. And how I've set this up is very simple. So these are called redstone links, and you can actually set these things to a channel and everything, which is pretty cool. But this is basically wireless redstone. Unfortunately, allthemods 8 doesn't have the same mod that allthemods 7 did with the gauges and switches. But as soon as it updates, I'm probably going to tell everybody, hey, come add this to the pack, because I love that mod. That mod is amazing. But for now, we're using redstone links. These are pretty cool. They're very easy to make too. So all you need to make a redstone link is just a redstone torch and a brass casing. Brass casings are very easy to make. All you have to do is take and put down any kind of log, right click to strip it, and then hit it with a piece of brass. There you go, brass casing. These also look very nice. You just combine that with a redstone torch and it gives you 2 redstone links. But there's something very important about these things that you have to know. First up, you need to make yourself the wrench from create. You can also get this very easily by going to the create quest line and just starting the very first quest, which will give you the wrench for free, which is pretty dope. Otherwise, these things have 2 modes. They have transmit and they have receive. So as you see that the little antenna there, if it doesn't have a circle around it, it's set to transmit. If it does have a circle around it, so all I got to do is right click, it's set to receive. So essentially, what this one right here does is transmits any redstone signal that it gets to any of the redstone links that have the receive mode on them. And you can also filter these things too by taking and putting an item right here, and it'll set a frequency. You can put 2 different frequencies if you want to, but this is basically so that you don't mix up with somebody else that's around you if you're playing in a multiplayer world. So essentially the way this works is, again, this is set to transmit and it transmits the redstone signal to all of these, and I just flick the switch and it turns them all on, which is really dope. It's also really laggy on my screen. So now that we know how to activate them, these don't come activatable. So basically, if we come over here and we type in spawner and then you hit R on the spawner itself, it'll tell you all the things and all the ways that you can modify your spawners. Now there's a ton, there's a lot. The most important ones, in my opinion, I think, is the nether stars, the soul lantern to ignore light. The spawn count is very important, which is the fermented spider eyes. And then we have a lot more things that you can do, like no AI is pretty nice. You just need some chorus fruit. Silence really nice if you don't want them making any noises. The entities is pretty important, so you need gas tiers, and just scroll through all these different things that you'll need. For me, what I like to do is I like to start off, especially in the beginning, I like to give it redstone control, which takes a redstone comparator. You just right click it with a redstone comparator and it gives it redstone control so you can control these. But at the top, we have minimum spawn delay, max spawn delay, all that good stuff. So just to show you guys kind of what this does, I have an extra spawner right here. See? We have a stray spawner. It's just a random stray spawner. Now this one isn't ignoring light, so it shouldn't actually spawn anything. So if I want redstone mode, I just right click it with a comparator and now we have control. At the top, this specific spawner has a minimum spawn delay of 180, a max spawn delay of 240. Now that takes a while. That's too long for me. And you can speed this up. All you need is some sugar or some clocks. So to speed the spawner up, minimum spawn delay is adjusted by hitting it with sugar. You can reduce it all the way to 20, and then that's it. And the max spawn delay is reduced by clocks. Now, this gets very expensive fairly quickly because it takes a lot of clocks to be able to turn this all the way to the minimum, which is 20. To increase the spawn count, you have to hit this with a fermented spider eye, and to increase the max amount of entities that this spawner can control or spawn, you have to hit this with gas tiers. And that goes up to a max of 32. So the max spawn count is actually 16, which is really nice. So you can actually make gas tiers by getting these catalyzing glands, which is why one of the mob spawns I suggest on you having is a creeper. The creeper is really nice to have because it, again, makes you gunpowder and it makes you gas tiers, which is pretty important. Then you have activation range and spawn range. And now activation range is kind of cool. It's nice, but we're going to kind of ignore that because we're a little bit far ahead. Now you can increase the max amount of activation range if you would like to. Basically, that determines whether how far you have to be away for these to actually spawn. So even if you chunk load this right here, like I have, it's not actually going to matter because you have to be close enough to trigger a spawn to work. So to trigger the activation range, but you can get bypast that by hitting every single one of these with a nether star, which is something we are going to do. Spawn range is how far they spawn from the spawner. Now, if you look, I have all of mine set to a spawn range of 2, so that way they don't spawn outside of my 7x7 that I've made. Now, you can change or increase the amount of spawn range you have by hitting it with a blaze rod. I don't want to do that. I want to reduce it. So to reduce or to remove anything, all you have to do is take and put a nether quartz in your offhand and then right click, and then you can control and lower whatever it is that you want to. So blaze rods in this moment reduces the spawn range, which is pretty nice. For example, for whatever reason, maybe I don't like the minimum spawn delay to be 20. Again, just hold the nether quartz in your offhand, and then you can adjust how fast it spawns or the minimum spawn delay that it takes. Now, like I said, there are several that you can add here, like ignores light is pretty nice. So for now, I'm just going to box this up and break it. Now, if I ever wanted to turn any of these off, the way I have this set up right now, if I ever wanted to turn any of these off, I would actually just take a cardboard box and stick it over whatever spawner that I don't want. Let's say if I don't want the husk spawning anymore, I have too much stuff from them. Just stick a cardboard box over it, and now it's no longer a spawner, it's just a box. Let's talk about how I built this and why I built this the way I did. At the very top, you don't have to have this, but it's nice to have because it does blow all of the mobs down if any of them decide to float up, say spiders, stuff like that. These two fans right here, very easy to make. I thought they had upgrades, but I guess not. Oh yeah, I ran out of feathers. We need to kill some more chickens. The mob fan is relatively cheap to make, and most of the time people will actually build their spawner or their mob farm or whatever with these spawners instead of using the things that I use, which are at the bottom, and I'll show you that in a minute. But these just blow things in a direction, and you can upgrade them with fan width, fan height, or with distance upgrades. Distance is how far it goes. Height and width, obviously, it just depends on how it's looking, right? So this is my area, and I only have one height upgrade, and I have 3 distance upgrades. So it goes one wider, and then it goes a lot farther down. If we take a look at one that doesn't have one, you see it's just a single straight down. If I add some more upgrades in here, it will indeed make it thicker. So for right now, just turn off the show, whatever. These are actually controlled by redstone links as well. I have a redstone link at the top. These don't need power or anything like that, just some kind of redstone. So important factors to this mob farm is, first off, you need to make it where there's nothing that they can stand on. Now, they can get trapped right here on this redstone link. So if that's what these fans are for, these will blow them off the top here if they somehow get spawned and fall on top of it. That's why I have the fans here, just in case. And sometimes spiders like to crawl under the corners too. So those things are kind of nice to have, just to have something to blow them down. You don't have to have it, but yeah, it's kind of nice to have. So just to reiterate, make sure there's nothing for it to stand on. That's why it's a single pillar, and I have all of these capped off. If you leave this, say, open and it starts right there, then they can just spawn on the top and sit up there, and then you can have a bunch of mobs, and that's not good. I have a single pillar that goes all the way down, and again, nothing for them to get stuck on here. I have this right here so that when they spawn, they can just go around this pillar. Now, I guess you don't have to have this pillar right here, because they can indeed get stuck on it. Like, this is why you see these plates. These are called entity conveyors. Again, another thing from mob grinding utilities. These are probably the easiest and cheapest way to make things, or to make some kind of mob control here, because you just need some slime balls, redstone, and iron ingots. And the slime balls are actually easy to get, because if you find some of these slime pearls in the drops, or just kill a bunch of slimes, I mean, you can go ahead and make yourself you get 6 slime balls out of it, and it only takes 2. So you can make 18 conveyors just off of one of those slime pearls. It's pretty nice. So these things are very simple. They just, whenever you land on it, it makes you go a certain direction. That's all it is. You can actually, as the player, hold shift and walk across them, and they won't push you anywhere. If you do the pillars like I'm doing right here, you need to make sure that there's some way for them to be pushed around. So if they spawn right here, we go over, and then we find ourselves into this, which is the mob masher. The mob masher is what I use to kill the mobs. I have 9 of them, and underneath them is a redstone block, because you actually have to have some kind of lever or redstone power. None of these use actual power, which is really, really nice. Cool thing about these is these all can be upgraded with sharpness upgrades or looting upgrades. There's plenty of other upgrades like setting them on fire, beheading them, stuff like that, but I don't really need all of that. I guess it wouldn't hurt for us to have a beheading upgrade, so that way we can get the heads from the wither skeletons, but they drop them easily anyway. Before we talk about these two inside and how to make them, let's look at the mob masher itself. It is a special recipe. You need some iron, basically a lot of iron blocks, iron swords, and then couple it some more iron swords, some diamonds, redstone, you get the mob masher. It's actually incredibly easy to make, and these do count as player kills, which means that you get experience and drops as if it was from a player. So I suggest going ahead and making yourself 10 of these sharpness upgrades for each one of your mob mashers. These take some gold nuggets, iron swords, and redstone. And the same thing for looting. These two are absolutely must-haves. You absolutely have to have the Mob Masher looting upgrade. This obviously applies looting to the Mob Masher to give you more materials. I guess you don't have to have it, but I mean, you better set it up the best way you can, right? Blue dye is very easy. You just need some lapis, and that's pretty much it. So each one of these have 10 inside of them, and they're actually very dangerous. Don't fall into them. So this setup, the way I have this set up, again, you can hold shift if you need to walk around in here if you don't have a jetpack. But again, if you let go, that hurts. Even with my allthemods armor that I have on, that actually took 3 hearts of my of damage right there. If I stand here for a second, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna kill me relatively quick. So when I was doing my allthemods 7 speedrun, the only death that I had was actually to that thing, which is kind of funny. So let's talk about the collection system that I have here. I guess we could talk about this right here. This is called an ender inhibitor. You have to have one of these if you have an enderman spawner. If you don't have this, enderman will just fall down and then teleport. You got to have one of these. They're very easy to make too. Again, mob grinding utilities. It's very simple to make. All you got to do is just place it on the wall. It comes active. If you want to turn it off, you right click it, but it just stops them from teleporting. Super easy to make. So I have everything being collected by a backpack right here. This is what my backpack looks like, which it looks like we have some skeleton and slime spawn eggs in here. This must be the extra spawn eggs that I have, because that's kind of weird. My personal suggestion is to use a backpack, because chests actually don't get as many upgrades as backpacks do. Backpacks also can take the tank upgrade, which allows them to collect experience, which is really nice. Because if you don't do this, you'll have to use something else to collect experience off the ground. The way I have this set up is I have a magnet upgrade that pulls in all of the items and the experience from whatever is dropped. I have an advanced void upgrade here, but I have the advanced void upgrade set to void overflow. The reason why I do this is because let's say we get ourselves a chainmail helmet. The chainmail helmet is cool and all to have or whatever. Maybe you don't want it, but if I go and do each individual one of these helmets, or say each different type of armor, what's going to end up happening is I have to add a filter to each one of these. And let's say I don't want arrows. Let's say I don't want ender tears. Let's say my collection system backs up, and then now it all goes into my backpack. Void overflow basically says I will hold one stack, or I will hold a single spot for whatever item that comes in here. This basically deletes everything after that. To show you an example, here's arrows. If I come over here and drop, it's going to delete the next stack of arrows. And this allows me to collect whatever it is into this without having a billion different void upgrades. This is how I suggest you setting it up. So it's set to block, it's set to work in GUI as well, and it's also set to void overflow. I have this set to ignore durability and ignore NBT. So that way it just doesn't care if it's like, it's not going to give you 2 osmium leggings if say one is full health and the other one's not. It's not going to do that. It's going to say, is it osmium leggings? Okay, we already have one, delete the other one. Otherwise, I have some stack upgrades. I didn't have enough materials at the time to make it. The biggest ones are up to tier 3, but we have a 2 tier 2s, a tier 1, and then we have a tank upgrade. So the stack upgrades basically allow it to hold more of one slot. So again, because it's only set to one slot, if I didn't have these stack upgrades, let's say we get an overflow of witches who drop redstone and we get too much redstone, then it's going to only hold one stack. The stack upgrades allow us to hold more. So even though it's going to void everything after the stacks are full, like anything past 2000 here gets voided, at least I'll have 2048 instead of just 64. See what I'm saying? The tank upgrade is very simple. You just have to have this to make it where it can pick up experience and push it out. If you don't have the tank upgrade, it doesn't allow you to push experience out. So I am pulling experience out of here. On the left side here, I have it pulling the experience out, which is a liquid, into something called an experience crystal. I have 643 levels in here stored. I can actually put all of my levels in here already. That tells you how much this sucker kills and how much experience it grabs. So you're never going to have an experience problem again. This is a really, really nice addition from Utility X mod, okay? You're going to need some black concrete, very simple to make, 3 emeralds, 1 bottle of enchanting, and I know this recipe looks confusing because it's only showing the glowing RGB viewer. Just get yourself some lime glass, any kind of lime glass. You see how it only showed for 1 second? Just get yourself 2 pieces of lime glass. And just as a shortcut, you can just smelt some cactus down for a green dye, and you just take a piece of bone meal, and now you have white dye. And that makes lime. Easy enough. I have it pumping straight in here. And in this one right here, I have an improved pipe upgrade so that it pumps experience fast enough. And then it stores all my levels. This thing, I can also pull out levels. So now I'm level 659. I can also put it back. So whenever I need them or whenever I have too many levels, I can just come over here and grab it from this. Pretty dope. So on this side, this is where all of my items are being pulled into. I'm using functional storage. Functional storage is probably my favorite mod in terms of storage. I just love the functionality that it has. So if you've ever played with the mod storage drawers, it's essentially the same thing, except for you can't have the controllers away from your drawers. Like if your controller's over here, it won't connect. It has to touch somewhere on your drawers. Well, functional storage, you don't have to do that. You can plop this sucker right here, and then we can link these together. So this is my storage controller. We've made this in earlier episodes, but I'm just going to show you just for an example. All you need is a linking tool. You right-click the storage controller here. And with your linking tool, you can right-click to either swap to remove or swap to add. If you shift-click, you can do multiple at a time or you can do single at a time. So I always set this to multiple, and I'm just going to show you. So I'm going to remove these by right-clicking, dragging it to the corner, turning it off. So these are now no longer connected to this. If I turn this on, it's just going to fill the backpack up, and I don't want that. Well, I guess it'd be good for demonstration purposes. So if we're looking at, oh, we got to turn my magnet off. If we're looking in here, this fills up relatively quickly. So we're going to turn this off, because I don't want this overflow and items to be on the ground. If we didn't have the void overflow, it's going to stack up whatever items are in here, but it does prevent us from having an issue where there's items floating on the ground, and it makes it where the server doesn't lag too, which is nice. But let's go ahead and remove, or let's go ahead and add these back in here. So we're going to switch over to add, right click. Now these are all added, and now this will pull all the items that I have in my drawers over from here into my drawers. Pretty cool. So all I did was I took and placed these 2x2 drawers over here. I gave them all void upgrades, which are very easy to make. You just need a drawer and 8 pieces of obsidian, very easy. And this essentially makes it where it says, okay, if this is full, what do I do with the extra stuff? Well, I don't want it backing up into that backpack, so I would rather this right here take care of the voiding. So if it goes over any of these slots, it's going to just start deleting the items. And I do believe I've had this happen, and I don't remember what it was. Like this one has 4 copper upgrades. It can hold 2.1 million of a standard item, which is, I mean, this is a very easy recipe to make. So what I've done is just place the item inside of here, and then I took my configuration tool and locked the chest. Now, what I would do is I would place all of them down, lock the chest first, right? All of them down, lock the chest. Then I would turn this sucker on, let the items come into here first so I can see what items are going to come into here first, and then pull the items out and put them in the storage drawer over here, just so that way I don't have a bunch of items just fill into these drawers randomly. The process would be place all the drawers down first, lock them all with the configuration tool, make sure they have that little locking symbol at the top, and then place your items in there slowly, so one at a time. You can turn it back on, link it or whatever in between here, but just place your items here slowly. So like, for example, I'm going to place the wither skeleton skulls in here because I do want to collect them. And then again, I'm going to take, I don't think the withered stuff, I don't think I can turn wither skeleton skulls with skeleton. No, that's not even worth it. But they do drop wither skull fragments, and I actually want those as well. So I'm going to stick this over here. Since this is locked, if there's nothing in there, you can still right click to place something in there, but the system won't push something into a locked drawer. So now it'll start collecting skulls and fragments of skulls. So now I just turn this on. And now if it gets it, it just shoves it over there. I don't really care to collect the withered ribs, so I'm just going to leave it here, but I do care to collect the coal that they drop. That's one of the most important things, and I'm just going to stick this in the corner. So now it'll start filling this up over here. So now the only thing is once it hits 32,000, well, almost 33, it'll start deleting it. The reason why I did this like this is because if you don't have the controller, you have to pump all of the items into all of these chests. The controller essentially just says, okay, this inventory right here is connected to all of these items, all of them. So if I come over here and grab redstone out, and let's say I have redstone all in my inventory here, all I have to do is come up over here and double right click, and it'll empty out all the items that are inside of this right here from my inventory into here, which is pretty nice. Like the inferium's gone. All of the things that have a spot over here are now out of my inventory, which is dope. And that is kind of the base, like the base way that I set this up. It's really nice to have. And if you're wondering what type of glass this is, it's called ethereal glass. It allows you to move through it, but nothing else can move through it. No hostile mobs can move through that, just players, which is nice. Yeah, this is my mob farm. So now you're wondering, what mobs should I use as a mob farm? Like, what are the best? Come on, Alfred, you speed ran all the mod 7 in 55 hours. Well, this is probably the most important part of my speed run, was making this right here. If you don't make something like this, you're going to have a really hard time making any kind of materials in general. So we're going to go through the recommended ones. You want Endermen. Obviously, you need Ender Pearls. You want spiders. It doesn't matter if it's cave spiders or not, because spiders drop string. String is very important for refined storage, AE2, all these different mods that require you to use string to make things like processor binding, stuff like that. Cave spiders are important. Husks actually don't matter. You don't have to have husk. You don't have to have husks. You don't have to have zombies. But if you're doing it for iron, there is one tip that I can give you. If you want a lot of iron, like a ton of iron, you can go out to the Twilight Forest, find yourself a Carbonite Golem, and swab these guys, because they do drop 0 to 2 iron ingots per kill, which is actually really nice. I have a slime spawner. Slime balls are really hard to come by since we don't have tinkers in 8, so I suggest on getting that. Blaze powders, blaze rods are very important, so you will want a blaze spawner. Blaze spawners are like the first step of all this, because, well, you need Eyes of Ender to be able to make any of these things. Creepers are really nice to have because you need gunpowder. Gunpowder is really nice for a bunch of different things, but most importantly, you can get the catalyzing glands from them to make the gas tiers. This is really only needed to upgrade all of the spawners to be faster, so you don't necessarily have to have that once your spawner system is set up. But once Tinkers gets added back, I'm going back to my bombs. I miss my bombs. The skeleton spawner is another one that you don't really have to have, but I am doing this because when we start doing inferium farming, the best inferium farm is actually made through create and using lily pads of fertility. If you guys are interested in that, I'm actually going to make a video about that and show that soon. Keep an eye out. So we went and grabbed a wither skeleton spawner because a wither skeleton drops wither skeleton skulls. Obviously very nice to have. And it also drops coal, which is obviously needed for a billion different things. And the most important spawners that you need, the two most important spawners that you need, is a cave creeper and a witch spawner. Now, witches, you can easily just go and find if you'd like to. There's random witch huts places. I don't know why there's spiders here. So witches can be in a lot of different places, but they're pretty easy to get. Mob swab one of these, get a mob egg from them. You need this. Witches drop a lot of things. Most importantly, they drop redstone. Redstone's very, very important. So they drop a lot of stuff, as you see. Glowstone, sugar, redstone, spider eyes. They're incredibly important. And the reason why they're so important is because the spider eyes and the sugar is used to upgrade your other spawners. So the witches is probably, having a witch is probably the first thing that I suggest you get, because the sugar and the spider eyes are used to upgrade it. Very nice to have. You're going to need it. They also drop witch hats, which are really nice because you can stack these up and then turn them into even more stuff, which is really nice because you can make more redstone out of them or glowstone, however that you want to. So I suggest setting up a drawer for specifically this. And now to talk about the most OP mob in this pack and in all of mod 7, the cave creeper. The cave creeper drops your standard gunpowder, but it also drops stone and iron and gold and emeralds and diamonds. Now, the diamonds and the emeralds are relatively low. 5% is actually not bad, but it's still relatively low. If you're trying to farm emeralds, make yourself an evoker spawn, but those two are much faster. The raw gold and the raw iron is incredible because you can actually run these through your mechanism setups if you have them. You can run them through different kind of ore doubling or tripling, and we're going to be getting into ore sextupling, I believe it's what it is, ×6. We're going to do ×6 stuff, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that in a later episode. But right now, I just have these pouring out into my system just to stack up. If you want to find a cave creeper, just go to a cave. Believe it or not, they're just in caves. You won't believe how easy it took me a while to find one, I'm not gonna lie. But fly around in some caves, make sure that it's an actual cave system, not just like some random tunnels that you dug. And yeah, you'll mob swab them and you'll get yourself a cave creeper. And those are the spawners that I have right now. These are all really nice to have. I may have missed something when I've explained this, but this is basically my setup. So if you guys have any questions, make sure to let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in doing a full setup video from scratch and everything, let me know as well. And I'll probably make a video of that anyway. But if you're interested, just do a step-by-step. Let me know. But yeah, this is my mob spawner. See that spider running up, bro? Come back. There is a way to fix that without having fans, because as you see, those fans don't work. And that is by getting chorus fruit. So you know what? Let's go and see if we can find some unobtainium today. Y'all want to do that? I really need to design this a little bit better, but yeah, that's kind of... Pro tip, you can put stairs like this and it looks kind of like a little stream, and it even sounds like one too, which is pretty cool. I meant to mention, when we were out on our adventures and we got this wild goat, we also got a bee. I know this is gonna sound really weird, but can you put a lead on a bee? Can you do that? It costs experience to yoink a mob. I didn't know that. Well, apparently you can, but this is Carlton the marbles winner. He won marbles apparently, but he has 600 max health. It's kind of difficult, but you know, now he's our friend. These are our friends that we've collected. Isn't that right? Body might be a little jealous, I'm not gonna lie. Body, listen, I'm gonna go find some unobtainium, so I'm gonna need you to stay right here. Stay right here. Don't go anywhere. Oh man, it's so beautiful out here with these shaders. What is that? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do /RTP and hopefully we don't die. God, this place is so beautiful. What are they mad about? Are they just jumping into the void here? What the hell? Now we're going to go and right click here and we're going to find ourselves the End Highlands. We're just going to figure out where the closest one's at, which it is 1,500 blocks this way. That's going to take a while to fly to. At least it's beautiful out here. Jesus Christ. Those are beautiful. Apparently we're here. Oh, this is it. This because that's chorus fruit right there. Cool. Go ahead and grab some of these because you're going to want it for your mob farm. I promise. God, there's a lot of ore out here too. Is that a bee? What is a bee doing out here? Is that an ender bee? They're so cute. Oh, it's an endstone nest right there. Wow, he is incredibly slow. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it! Wait, when'd you get so fast? That's kind of exciting, I'm not gonna lie. All right, so unobtainium is probably, believe it or not, the hardest thing to find because, well, it's unobtainium. In every speedrun that I've done, unobtainium was the thing that took me the longest to find. And it's because you have to be in an End Highlands biome to find it. So pro tip, if you're in an End Highlands biome and it looks like this, Professor Clown has spawned? What is Professor Clown? Is he easy to kill? No, he's got 20. No, I'm not fighting that guy. He's got 20. You just don't ever fight anybody that's got 20 armor because you got to have some kind of like max health and armor ignoring stuff. Just don't do it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. If you ever spawn in one of these like here, and this is what it looks like, and it's just a little corner piece, fly around away from this because chances are you're going to find a really beautiful biome. No, but seriously though, you should be able to find yourself a completely different biome that, well, here we go. This is where the End Highlands biome actually like connects to. And apparently I pissed off more Endermen. Go ahead, come on, fight me then. I suck at this game. This is a terrible End Highlands biome. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know. This is absolutely garbage. Like if you see an End Highlands biome like this, you're gonna have a really hard time finding unobtainium because it's already hard to find, and with there only being like one little area here. No way! No way. Are you kidding? What? No way. Do you know how long it took me to find it on the first few that I went through? Like legitimately, I'm not even joking. I cannot believe I just found this. Cool thing is I have luck or fortune 5 on this, so just easily be able to break this. Oh my God, 5 blocks as well. Did they make it easier to find or something in 8? How much did we get out of that? 11. We got 11 raw unobtainium ore. That is actually insane. No way they made this easier to easier spawn, because that's kind of crazy that I found it within like 10 seconds. Like this is not even me like I don't even know how to feel. Like we're going to test this now. Now I have a personal vendetta to figure this out, why that was so easy to find. Like maybe they actually changed this to make it easier. I don't know. If we see some more over here in an easier spot, then we know it's easier to get. It's not going to spawn here because we're in the Bubbles Gardens. Lady Uma the Super. I don't even want to fight them because they take too long. Let's see if it's easy to find unobtainium here. I mean, it's kind of cheating if it is. There's no way that it was that simple. I kind of want to look in this. I cannot believe I found it that quickly. That just has to be the luckiest I've ever been. I'm not going to lie. Like that was all of my luck. I'm actually kind of upset. All right, maybe that was just a lucky find because I am not seeing anywhere else. This is also a very terrible End Highlands biome. If you get lucky like me and you get... Hold on a second. So if you get lucky like me and you end up running yourself into 11 of these raw unobtainium ore, go make yourself the charm. just like we did with the diamond site, netherite site, all the other stuff. If you're like super early game, which I don't know why you're hunting for unobtainium in the early game, but you know, whatever. If that situation were to exist, what I would normally do, especially in my speed runs, is I would go ahead and make myself the charm site, and then from there, you know, find more unobtainium that are just sitting. And they definitely made this easier to get. Look at this. There's 2 right here, and there's 2 right here. They 1000% made this easier to find. Like, there's no way they didn't. This has to be just easier. That was 2 right there, and there was 4 right there. And now we have a total of 26. There's no way that they didn't make this easier. Like, that's insane that it's just right there on the side right there. Maybe All the Mods 8 will be a whole lot easier to speedrun because of this. Maybe I speedrun All the Mods 8. I'm gonna spend all my time looking for more just because we got lucky finding them. Anyway, that's really cool and all, but you know what? I don't actually want to spend all my time looking for this stuff. So I'm gonna show you guys how to find it the easiest way, and also take our next step into getting infinite materials in like literally 5 seconds, okay? So what we're going to do is, first step is we're going to find ourselves an end city, and hopefully an end, what are they called? The little ships, the airships. Hopefully we can find one of those. What is going on with that block right there? See, now I'm just looking for some more unobtainium, y'all. I'm just like, got my eyes peeled for it. I think on average it took me like an hour to find 1 piece of unobtainium, like my start. I was supposed to be looking for that ship. It's like a hunt. It's like a scavenger hunt. Y'all ever shiny hunted before? And like Pokemon? Okay, so if you have the netherite, you can actually make this with some allthemods. It's very easy. It's just a structures compass. I don't have that. I don't have the netherite. Actually, I think I do have the netherite. I do not have the netherite. I am going to save this raw unobtainium ore because we're going to use that for a ×6 later down the road. And that'll be probably next episode. So now, there ain't no damn way. Well, I don't think there's a balloon here, but there ain't no damn way that we ah! What? Are you kidding? Okay, I'm not even joking. I'm serious. I'm like dead serious. This is actually really incredibly lucky. Like, I don't understand. This is where we did the in Highland stuff. I just started flying out here because I was going to show you this biome right here is actually one of my favorites in the end, because you get to see these like little lava pits underneath, and I was like, man, this is really cool. But Jesus, how lucky are we to find one of these? This is crazy, actually. I don't even know how to feel. So the reason why we need to find this, aside from just hitting guys, and I don't know why I hit that Enderman. I'm just so excited. So aside from just fighting everything here, there's a reason why we're here. Oh God, it scared me. There's a reason why we're here. And 2 things. 1, the elytra and whatever's in here. Grants immunity to knockback. We're getting that. Diamond back. We're going to take the diamond backpack with us. Gold, gold, gold. We're going to take all these backpacks with us. An ender staff uses ender pearls to let the player teleport around. I don't really care for that, I'm going to be honest with you. But we are going to get the elytra. That's important. But even more important, because, I mean, we literally can fly, is at the very front of these ships, the most important item that you're going to need for infinite resources is a dragon head. Because the dragon head is used to make ourselves something amazing. And that is the chunk destroyer, which will be the focus of our next episode in All the Mods 8. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you. If you like these videos, make sure you hit like, subscribe. Let me know what you're interested in and what you're doing in your All the Mods 8 playthrough. If you want me to show you a certain mod, do a certain thing, all that good stuff, just let me know, and hopefully I can cover it and teach y'all guys something, maybe even potentially speedrun All the Mod 8. Do you want me to speedrun All the Mod 8? Well, I'll speedrun All the Mods 8. Just let me know. I'm also doing a playthrough over on my Twitch channel of Vault Hunters 3, the latest edition, and it's been a ton of fun. We have a community server. I've made a community post about this. Head over to my Discord if you want to check it out, or my Twitch streams. I stream on Friday, Saturday, Sunday if you guys want to come hang out with me. On the next episode, we're going to conquer the world with the Chunk Destroyer. As always, thank you guys for watching, and bye-bye!